Shalom Aleichem. We have here Parshas Vayeira. This is from Rebbe Nachman's Torah. Breslov insights into the weekly Torah reading, Parshas, and this is Vayeira. So let's see what it says here. Parshas Vayeira. Vayeira Elav Hashem be'elonei mamrei behu yoshev pesach ha'ohel kichom hayom. God appeared to him, to Avram Avinu, at the trees of Mamre, while he was sitting at the opening to the tent in the heat of the day. Right after he got his bris, at the age of, I think it was 99, and he was sitting at the opening to the tent in the heat of the day. He was sitting by the tent because he wanted to go and see if he could invite people into his home, to give them food to eat and to do chesed with them. God appeared to him. So this was while he was weak from his circumcision at the age of 99, at an old age. God appeared to him when Abraham was sick and weak after his milah. Specifically then did he merit a revelation of God, when he was sick and weak. The same applies to anyone who is sick and weak. He merits the divine presence resting upon him. Nedarim 40a. Similarly, on Chanukah and Purim, festivals that fall on weekdays, one merits God's presence. Likutei halachot, Parshas 24. In other words, it's a weekday, and it's also a little bit of a weekday because Shabbos, that's the when we are strong and everything. So these are Chanukah and Purim are Yomim Tovim, festivals that fall on weekdays. So we also merit Hashem's presence. This is from Likutei Halachot, page 24. God appeared to him, to Avram Avinu, at the trees of Mamre. Mamre advised Abraham to perform the circumcision. Mamre was the one that gave Avraham, the advice to perform the circumcision, to do the circumcision. Rashi. The trees of Mamre allude to the two trees of Eden, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So Mamre alludes to according to the Rebbe Nachman, alludes to the trees of the Garden of Eden, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Mamre is similar to Temurah. Mamre is similar to Temurah, exchange. Mem Reish Aleph Hey. Mamre, the word Mamre is similar to Temurah, exchange. For there is a path that leads to the tree of life, and there is a chambers of exchanges in which good and evil are mixed up, distorting a person's path. A chamber of exchanges. It's good and evil are mixed up, distorting a person's path. Abraham represents the person who seeks God by virtue of his efforts. He finds the correct path, and God appears to him. Moreover, because of his great desire for godliness, the Mamre, or chambers of exchanges, itself gives Abraham the advice to guard his covenant and to strive for holiness. Because of his great desire for godliness, the Mamre, or chamber of exchanges, itself gives Abraham the advice to guard his covenant and to strive for holiness. The Torah describes the extent of Abraham's desire for godliness. He was sitting at the opening to the tent in the heat of the day. That's in the heat of the day he was sitting there. When a person seeks spirituality, he must learn to wait for an opening and never give up. That's very important, not to give up. He must wait patiently despite the heat, despite his burning desires. He must wait patiently despite the heat, despite his burning desires. If he holds out, he merits that God will appear to him. He saw three wayfarers. For the ascent to holiness demands several efforts. One cannot enter on the first try. So that's the three wayfarers. The three wayfarers represent that three efforts, several efforts. For the ascent to holiness demands several efforts. One cannot enter on the first try. He ran because Abraham performed the mitzvot with joy and zeal. Likutei Halachot, pages 48 to 80. Yukach no ma'at mayim, v'rachatzu raglechem v'yishanu tachas oetz. Let the water be brought and wash your feet. Recline beneath the tree. Wash your feet. Abraham thought they were Arabs who worshipped the dust of their feet. This was at that time. We're talking about at that time, thousands of years ago, who worshipped the dust of their feet. And he was careful that idolatry should not enter his house. Rashi. Haughtiness and anger are akin to idolatry. Sota 4b, the Dharm 22a. So in other words, one should not be haughty and anger. We should try to guard against anger and haughtiness. The feet correspond to a person's prayers. In order to attain the mysteries of Torah, one must overcome haughtiness and anger and rectify his prayers. Likutei Maharan. So feet correspond to prayer. In other words, one is walking and seeking Hashem. So in other words, that's like feet. When we're praying, it's like feet in order to get to Kedusha and Tahara, in order to attain the mysteries of Torah. So one must overcome haughtiness and anger and rectify his prayers. So one was try to wash one's feet from haughtiness and anger, which are akin to idolatry, haughtiness and anger, and then we can dive into Hashem in a very pure way with Hashem's help, with His help. Vayikach chema v'cholov uven habakor asher oso vayitein lefneihem v'hu omeid alehem tachas ha'etz vayochelu. He took Abraham took butter, milk, and the calf that he had prepared, and set it before them. He set it before the angels, before the wayfarers. He stood over them beneath the tree, and they ate. The angels ate by Abraham. Why did Abraham feel it was necessary to feed the angels? The effort to purify one's eating is a major battle, one that angels do not have to fight. In other words, we should strive to eat, to be healthy, to serve Hashem, not just because that this tastes good, I would like to have it to eat. We're eating to try to be healthy, to serve Hashem. So that's the major battle of the purifying one's eating. One that angels do not have to fight. Yet Abraham knew that one day the angels would try to prevent God from giving the Torah to his children and the Jewish people. The angels would claim that the Jews would be unable to withstand all the tests to purify their eating and their souls in order to merit the great gift of Torah. When Moses ascended to heaven to receive the Torah, the angels indeed tried to push him away. God turned Moses' features into those of Abraham and asked the angels, "Isn't he the one you ate by?" The angels were silenced. Shemot Rabbah 28:1. In other words, they also ate at one point. The angels visited Abraham after he had performed the mitzvah of circumcision, which is categorically equivalent to accepting the entire Torah. Therefore, Abraham gave the angels something to eat, showing them the challenges that human beings must endure in the material world before they can ascend to true spirituality. Likutei Halachot. The angels visited Abraham after he had performed the mitzvah of circumcision, which is categorically equivalent to accepting the entire Torah. That's like a bris, it's like a covenant. Therefore, Abraham gave the angels something to eat, showing them the challenges that human beings must endure in the material world before they can ascend to true spirituality. In other words, he gave them something to eat, so they saw that people have this challenge of eating and all the challenges that it implies, and try to spiritualize one's eating. So which is something that they don't know anything about. So he was showing them the challenges that human beings must endure in this material world. In the material world, before they can ascend to the spirituality, to true spirituality. Okay, Yeshikayach, thank you. So this is from Bereshis, Parshas Vayeira. Parshas Vayeira, this is in Rebbe Nachman's Torah. Yeshikayach, Kol Tov, soll sein gut. Soll sein good, things should be good, there should be peace in Eretz Yisrael, and things should be good with Hashem's help again.